Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Whiteboard History, where we talk anything and everything history. Today, I'm going to be talking about the causes of the Mexican-American War and how we should look at the Mexican-American War today. As I've said many times, history is a series of moving parts, so there are various factors that led to the war between Mexico and the United States, but in a simplified way, I'm going to focus on what I consider to be the three main causes of the Mexican-American War. The first overarching cause of the Mexican-American War is the idea of manifest destiny, and the idea of manifest destiny really drives the other two factors that I'll talk about in a minute. So what is manifest destiny, and why did it spur the United States to go to war with neighboring Mexico? Manifest destiny was the idea that the United States was an enlightened nation, that the American system was better for the world, and being that enlightened nation meant that America was destined to be a nation that stretched from sea to sea. It was their God-given right to expand the United States all the way to the Pacific, and anyone or anything that stood in the way of that American expansion would have to get out of the way or face the consequences of an empowered United States. And this wasn't some facade that the American people put on. It wasn't like they just threw around the term manifest destiny as a front for their expansion efforts. The majority of people in the United States truly believed that God was shining light on an American nation that stretched from Atlantic to Pacific. It's important to keep that in mind as we talk about the other causes of the Mexican-American War, as well as other major events in American expansion down the road. The second major cause that I like to focus on when thinking about how the Mexican-American War started is Texas. Yes, the big state of Texas. So around the early 19th century, Stephen Austin took a band of farmers out to what is now the state of Texas. When they got there and started farming the land and building a community, they learned that the land that they were on actually belonged to the country of Mexico. So Stephen Austin and the Mexican government formed this quasi-agreement that they could farm the land and live there, but they would be subject to Mexican taxation and other regulations. This was all well and good, except for the fact that the United States was on this manifest destiny high that we talked about, and weren't really cool with the idea of the American people being a vassal of the Mexican government. The United States actually tried purchasing the land from Mexico, but that didn't end up happening, so some events led to others, and we fast forward to the third cause of the Mexican-American War. The United States was not about to declare war on Mexico as a belligerent nation. When you're a democratic republic that's all about freedom and self-determination, it just looks bad if you're the first one to declare war against a neighbor. So instead, the United States moved troops into a disputed area of land between the United States and Mexico. The United States always believed that the Rio Grande was the official border between the two countries, and Mexico thought that it was at a river a little farther north, so there was this crescent of land that both countries disputed. So the U.S. Army just kind of sat in this disputed land, and it's actually said that the two armies could see each other quite clearly. The Mexican government finally issued a warning to get out of the disputed land or they would attack. The Mexican government finally issued a warning to get out of the disputed land or they would attack, and the United States replied, manifest destiny. Okay, they didn't actually reply manifest destiny, but they weren't about to back down. So Mexico declared war on the United States for being in the disputed land, which ultimately was the spark that started the war. For various reasons that we can talk about another time, the war didn't go so hot for Mexico, and the United States for the first time got to flex its newfound muscles to a foreign power. I should also note that the Mexican-American War was wildly popular in the United States as it was the peak of manifest destiny, fighting for this divine right of an ocean-to-ocean nation. And that's not to say that some people didn't speak out against the war. For example, Abraham Lincoln is known to have been opposed to the war with Mexico, but for the vast majority of Americans, it was a good thing. So why is this war so important for the United States? Why do we study the Mexican-American War today? Well, for one, the Mexican-American War nearly doubled the size of the United States and really made possible the ocean-to-ocean nation. Second, the Mexican-American War gave the U.S. Army experience that it desperately lacked, and many of the distinguished soldiers of the Mexican-American War went on to lead the armies of the American Civil War. No event in history is insignificant, and each moment in history directly connects to another. This has been Whiteboard History. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.